The good news is that The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug is less laborious and more exciting than the first film. The bad news is that at 2 hours and 41 minutes, it's still a slog. Peter Jackson's second installment in the trilogy, that is 3 movies made out of an approximately 300-page book, goes on and on and on. There are scenes here of great power and beauty, but they're buried under so much plot, exposition, and explanation of the very complex mythology of Middle-earth that after a while my eyes glazed over.
What did you find? My courage. Good. You'll need it.
Once again, we join Bilbo Baggins, played by the wonderful Martin Freeman, and the 13 dwarves as they proceed towards the Lonely Mountain and staggering treasure. My favorite part of the film is a high-octane sequence in which the dwarves float down a churning river in barrels, even as they're being attacked by orcs. Yes, it plays out like a theme park ride, but it's so immersive and action-packed that you almost feel yourself drowning with the dwarves. The ugly, evil orcs are everywhere, but the grandest villain is, of course, Smaug himself, a magnificent, malevolent, fire-breathing dragon voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch. Jackson also builds nicely the slow evolution of Bilbo Baggins, as he is increasingly influenced by the all-powerful ring that he has hidden in his coat pocket. However, most of the characters on screen, digital and real, are very hard to care for. It's an epic CGI fantasy with very little emotional resonance. The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug isn't essential viewing, but you won't be entirely disappointed either. Just come armed with patience and a full stomach. I'm going with 3 stars.
Hey, tell me why I'm in here. Look at me. No.
I'm not sure why Spike Lee's Oldboy exists. The original film made by South Korean director Park Chan-wook in 2003 is a cult classic that won the Grand Prix in Cannes. That film is difficult to watch, beautifully delirious, and so deeply disturbing that images are still imprinted on my brain. So why did it need a Hollywood reworking? I couldn't tell you. Especially one that imitates the original as faithfully as this one does. Once again, an executive is kidnapped and imprisoned in a room for 20 years. In the original, it was 15. Just as randomly, he is then set free, and now he must figure out who did this to him and why.
I will find you.
If you haven't seen the original, then Lee's Oldboy might marginally hold your interest. But if you have seen and appreciated the Park Chan-wook film, then this one is a crashing bore. You know exactly what's coming, down to the painstakingly choreographed, brutal action sequences. There are no surprises, and the few additions that Lee has made to the script are in fact the weakest spots. So I'm going with 1.5 stars and recommending that you enjoy the original Oldboy. The new one is too dated.